Okay. Hey, how's it going, fellow revolutionaries? Another beautiful day here in Florida. I hope wherever you're at, the weather's at least manageable. And as usual, I hope you're with people that you can stand, tolerate, love, and appreciate. I've been praying for all you revolutionaries, as I have for the world leaders and those in charge of issuing any checks for financial assistance, and along with world leaders, those that are kind of deciding, or at least trying to, our collective fates. Megacorps, banksters, like the elite, the lizard people, if you will. Yes, they, the ones right now grasping to the power that they have, because everything's different now. So, Florida has reopened. This is a phase one to kind of summarize what that means for those of you looking at this from outside Florida or in, who want to fact check me for what it definitely means with phase one. Is essential and non-essential businesses will start to have 25% capacity allowed. So, like a non essential, such as, a restaurant, outdoor seating, no more than 25%. That goes for retail as well. But, you got to follow the arrows in the big box stores, because it's where you go in the aisles and all that, which I know is a huge controversy. But without being tangential, but bringing everyone up to speed with where things are at, yeah, this is the day after the day we soft opened phase one here in Florida, which, just to give you an idea, it's not full blown. And as far as what happens with the beaches and people doing what they do here, like, we're not all that crazy here in Florida, but the ones that are keep us on the news. So, okay, moving forward into this new world as we know it, the election, despite whatever your conspiracies may be, is obviously, whether it happens or not, is still something very much upon us. And going into that, I want to sort of throw in my 2 cents. I know I haven't been, let's say, as directly involved maybe with the page, but best believe I swoop in when necessary. And I see everything to the best of my ability, and anything that I miss, I find out about, trust me. But in overseeing the tone of the page, 4 years ago when we were coming up on an election, and even for us with DNA, let's not forget we had midterms, which, congratulations on all of us surviving. We're now at the eve of another election. Now, you can all do what you want, obviously. You can do whatever you want. That's why ANCAPistan's here, and that's why your administration leads by example, not executive order, because any other site can offer you that. And honestly, if I, again, kicked out everyone I disagreed with, it would just be me. So, like, what's the point of that? But in conducting yourselves outside of conflicts that have nothing to do with politics, but when engaging one another in the arena of political debate, might I remind you that you don't have to defend the terrible character flaws, the unforgivable pasts of offenses, or any of the just absolute horrible things that any of the candidates have done in the past. Now, it's not your responsibility. I know I said this in the last video, but it's not your responsibility to stand up for a candidate's unforgivable behavior, either on the campaign trail, either before or after they were allowed to legally drink. I don't care. Okay? Like, please, for the sake of the page, your decency, and when we see notifications go off, because, you know, I I want it to be a good time for you. I want it to be a good time for everybody. I want, if people actually get brought into Ancapistan, to not leave screaming thinking that all we are is irrational shit posters, because we're irrational shit posters with heart, or at least a big percent of us. And don't go on there, please. For the love of the page, our sanity, notifications, and data. And I mean, it's COVID. If there's a notification going off on DNA, whether we like the person or not, we always look. So, like, just bring good content. But it's not your job to say this candidate is less rapey when this candidate, or this candidate assaulted less people than this candidate. That's terrible if you are using up valuable time during a global crisis to defend a candidate for being less assaulty. And guarantee 90% of the people talking about it are going to be dudes, so extra yikes. But when going into this election, whether it gets canceled or not, or something terrible happens, which I don't want to speak into the universe, what I want you all to remember is that it is not your responsibility or job to mitigate or downplay the horrible things that either candidate has done, or whatever happens. You know, who knows, maybe they'll throw in someone at the end because something happens with Biden. Who knows? And I'm not even saying I hope that happens, and I'm not even trying to speak that into the universe. But we have an opportunity here as a page, as a people, and as citizens of Ancapistan, that when going into this next election, no, it's not your responsibility or job to apologize for any of the horrible things that not only the candidates have done, the parties. Because seriously, okay, if we're going to be real about it, for all the jihadi apologist, you know, commie gulag psychos that hang out in the left, the right has a lot of scary cancer, like Nazis and eugenics and, you know, systematic oppression and all that. And it's like, okay, so am I trying to give you like a doomsday video about how there's no hope? No, what I'm saying is that for the love of God, for the love of decency, for the love of the page and yourselves and notifications, when going into these debates about this next election on where we should all go, don't forget, your version of a better future for you may not be the best for someone else. And you know what? It's probably not as easy as you think to fix it. And along with that, it is not your responsibility to defend shitty candidates. It's not your job to defend shitty parties. And it's certainly not your job to retroactively judge the horror of two shitty, terrible political systems that we've been offered. You know, two heads of the same hydra. So, you know, I can sit here, you know, in Betty Ford spiritual healing with like the sun being here with the queen and all the, you know, happiness that Rye has been attesting about while being away. And yeah, it's really easy for me to say it's that easy, just be nice to each other. But hey, I admit the place of privilege that I'm speaking from. It's totally different world out there for you and your individual places. But the fact of the matter is that probably when you're engaging other people in these debates, that your unique position of coming from it, no matter how well you present it or not, chances are you're experiencing something that they don't. And you're probably dealing with stuff that they don't. And when that ties over into politics, please, like, you've got enough problems. Don't go defending people right now who can run to bunkers, aren't scrambling for toilet paper, and have people doing their accounting for them, okay? Like, you don't need to defend them, all right, while you all figure out how you're going to work your futures, all right? So you can do whatever you want, but again, don't defend these politicians, don't defend these parties. And when we go into these debates, represent yourself and your values. And remember, you are the revolution, and we will see you in Threads.